So here I am at this exotic mansion I've found next to the beach, uninhabited. We're simulating a blown out urban catastrophe, okay? And this is a matter of needing to find food desperately. So let's just imagine this is just after a nuclear war. Only 2 or 3% of the population remain, and I have survived for some reason. And I desperately need food. Okay, there are a lot of tin cans that can withstand the alpha and beta rays, the nuclear fallout in other words. So you'll have to do your research on what they are. So very often you'll need to scope for those types of foods that can be stored for years. And you'll find hundreds, if not thousands or millions, in suburbs stored away, even if the people have perished. So the whole purpose of this isn't that, oh, look, Nathan Avila's found a 3 fucking story luxury mansion next to a beach with a fucking tennis court, a pool around the back, fucking barbecue area, massive land, birds all around, nature, peace, this, that. It's not the point. This is about the food part. So I've already breached this place. It took me fucking 2 seconds. And I did my research that nobody's here. So essentially, you go straight to the food once you've done your research if everyone's here. So you go, you do your normal checks, as I've showed you in the breaching series and even mentioned in the shelter series. You ensure no one's home. You do your door knocks. You look through windows. You just confirm everything, and then you start your breaching. Keeping in mind of people looking and all that stuff. Again, I've showed you all that sort of stuff through in the breaching series and shelter series. So once you've done all that, then okay, shit, I've got to get food. That's very important. I also need water, but that's not part of this series. This is about food. So it'll be the same case with water, but I'll cover that in the water series. So this is a matter of food. So we're just imagining that I've just breached this place. I've fucking got in here about fucking an hour and a half ago. I've been sitting down on my laptop. So I played with this door and opened it very quickly. You walk in, first thing to look for. Don't worry about the art. Okay, here's the kitchen. It's all ransacked. No one's here. Oh, fuck, bang. And if you've got your food bag, like I've advised you, all of that, you chuck in your food bag. All the good stuff. Especially if you've done the right thing and researched what's good to eat after a nuclear war. Obviously, if it's not a nuclear war, then won't have to worry about any of those gamma or beta rays whatsoever. The nuclear fallout, in other words. You won't have to worry about a fucking thing. If it's not a nuclear war. But it will still be the same thing. You go in, yep, food, bang, 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 cupboard. I'm sure you've seen it plenty of times in the movies, but I can't stress it enough that in a full blown out urban survival catastrophe, or urban catastrophe, every time you breach a house, you must go straight for the food, because you're not going to find it very often elsewhere. You may find birds, you may find other bits and pieces, but a lot of that meat will be useless if it's a nuclear war. And even if it's not a nuclear war, you're going to find it much easier to find cans of food than hunting birds and animals and dogs and all sorts of shit. So that's just good discipline. When it will come to that. So when it's a blown out urban catastrophe, the worst of the worst catastrophes, your full societal breakdown, your nuclear war, your fucking all out warfare with non-nukes, civil strife, civil war, pandemics, the works. Every time you breach a house, you're looking straight for the cans of food. Now, if you're homeless and you breach a house and you find people live there and you find there's food there, I'm going to say to you, you shouldn't touch anything. It's not yours. You shouldn't steal. I'm sure you watched my last video, and that even applies. Actually, it applies more if it's someone else's property. Jesus, at least the supermarkets have got big bucks. You know, you shouldn't take food items that belong to someone else. So that's a big. There's a big distinction between the homelessness situation and a full urban survival catastrophe that's non-home. That's got nothing to do with homelessness. You know, the ones you're typically accustomed to in movies. So that's when you would take the food, no matter fucking what. You've got to survive. But if you're homeless, you've got your welfare payments, or whatever the case is. If you don't have welfare payments but have money coming in, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Look, if you're actually in my shoes and there's a shitload of food there, if you must, just take a fucking can of beans. I'm sure it's not going to kill them. But that's if you're really, really, up to shit. You just don't take that sort of stuff from people in a normal situation. Much less people than the supermarkets. And that's pretty much it. Again, good discipline. You go straight for the cupboard, the pantries, where the food may be stowed. And you stock up in your packs. And even if you need to take extra bags or make an extra pack, you take as much food as possible because it can last. Food in cans will last. And eventually the situation will get better, so canned foods can last for years. And that will ensure your survival. Understand that is one of the most important aspects of food in a major urban catastrophe. There being cans readily available in houses that you just breached for sheltering purposes or even just to look for food.